Hey everyone, this is the Gamer Chat Podcast. I'm Tim,
I'm Josh.
and this is our topic for today. We're going to be discussing
Online, well, not really online, but Online?
single-player games.
and online multiplayer.
Sorry for interrupting you, Josh, but I don't mean to interrupt you. But okay, so here's my 2 cents on that topic. Whereas I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm more in favor of single-player games because I love a good story game, and I do like playing online, but sometimes online can get a little repetitive. And it's the same old thing. Join a team, join with other players. You win a game. This is all. Both story games or single player games, there's more like accomplishments that you can achieve when you're playing a single player game, such as like you defeat a hard boss by yourself, you're doing all this stuff by yourself. It's like kind of rewarding in a way, like with Dark Souls. And I know Dark Souls it's not a full single player game because it has an online Dark Souls is basically Dark Souls, I guess you could say it's a hybrid game because it has the single player campaign, but it also has online mode where you can join with people.
Yeah, you can also play it only solo,
Yeah,
long as you just don't,
Yeah.
re-get your humanity.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm not gonna lie. There are so many times I wasted humanity and I raged. Dark Souls is a game where you rage. I don't fucking care how much of a pro player you are. You will rage. You will rage. But no, back to my point with Dark Souls being one of those types of games where it has difficulties. It has like obstacles that you have to overcome, and sometimes it's super rewarding when you finally do it. And that's why I kind of like single player games because single player games have a lot of that. Whereas online games, I don't really see it a whole lot. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I'm totally in favor of online games. If I had a choice between online forever or single player forever, I would go with online overall. Mainly because I like the idea of working with a team. In my case, I play Rainbow Six Siege a lot. Now, in that game, you have to work as a team. If you go off solo, you're going to lose. Easy.
Right.
In Call of Duty, it's a little bit different story. One man can carry a team pretty easily. It's
Which
not
happens
that hard.
a lot.
Yeah, it does happen a lot. It's not hard for one man to carry your team so long as it's like team deathmatch and it's not like domination or capture the flag. It's games like Siege where you have to strategize. You have to pick things carefully and use your mind to outsmart the other people who are playing with you. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah,
I don't like the fact that people, not you in particular, but people in general shit on multiplayer games because they think it's mindless. When in fact, you're thinking about how everyone else is playing the game. In the case of Siege, there's 5 other people you have to outsmart. It's not just some random AI that's already programmed. It is a person who is thinking and acting in a completely different way than what you do. It has its own level of difficulty. Well, maybe some people find it easy or, absurdly complicated.
Yeah, and like Siege, I'm not gonna lie, I do play some Siege. Not a whole lot. I mostly play at other friends' house, but every time I play it, I always try to picture like what's going on in the other team's mind. Because when I'm with my friends and we're playing, it's always we're basically just we're all playing together. We're all talking like Tim, use this, like Tim, ready, like John, ready to breach the door. Kyle, get ready to ambush or do all that stuff, like prepare to go through the window. We're always just all thinking like, okay, we need to remember what the enemy's going to do. They're probably going to set a trap once we barricade the door or whatever. Like Siege is definitely a type of game that makes you think. Like there are some online games that make you think or that you have to cooperate with your team. It's not with Siege. I will say Siege is the exception to where like for online games because it makes you think. It makes you like you use your brain instead of just going like, okay, kill that enemy, kill the enemy. Okay, oh we won, hooray! Like games like with Call of Duty, I'm not gonna lie, that's how I feel anytime I play Call of Duty. It's just I'm sitting there, shooting. Oh, I won the match. Sweet, next match. With like Call of Duty, I'm not trying to hate on it because I do like Call of Duty, but online can get pretty boring. And same with Destiny. I love playing Destiny. I love it, but things I've noticed in Destiny is that sometimes like if we're playing like capture, a lot of the times it's like people go to this like point A, point B, and then we capture it, and then like Destiny, no matter how I see it, is just everyone just shoots. You just shoot, you shoot, and that's it. With Destiny, online competitive gets repetitive. And I know I kind of made a rhyme competitive repetitive.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna agree with you on like Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty avidly. I have not played the new Modern Warfare, but I've played Call of Duty since I want to say Call of Duty 4. So I've been playing for quite a while, and the multiplayer does get repetitive so long as you're not playing with people you know or whatever, and you're not having challenges for yourself. Like me, I try and complete the multiplayer 100%, get all the skins, get all the different accolades, stuff like that. But if you are just a casual player, you don't have a goal set, Call of Duty is good to pick up for 1 or 2 games and then just to put down between, sessions. And if you're, thinking of like multiplayer games, everyone thinks of Call of Duty. No one thinks of no one really goes
like games like For Honor.
For Honor. No one really thinks of Halo right off the bat either. Gears of War, stuff like that.
I love playing Halo, Gears of War.
I mean, I love those games, but they do require a lot more thought than Call of Duty. Call of Duty is probably the most mindless multiplayer game out there. I know that's not really controversial.
And to you players, we're not hating on you. We're just saying.
Oh no, I love Call of Duty. Call of Duty, and I watch the CWL every year. I've watched the Pro League for the past 6 years.
There's a Pro League for Call of Duty?
Of course there is. What do you mean? I've watched every single Pro League for the past 6 years. I love Call of Duty. And in all honesty, though, it is a mindless shooter so long as you're not at the competitive level. If you're a competitive level, then yeah, it's going to take a lot more thought. I get that. But if you're just playing for fun, picking up a game, playing Team Deathmatch, it's mindless.
Yeah.
There's no real thought to it.
Yeah, and I just want to say the reason why we're talking about this topic is because I know there was a huge debate about how story games were dying out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like single player based story games were dying out, and people are saying, "Oh, online, that's the new game." Like games with Fortnite being the head runner and all that.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I will always be a diehard fan of story based single player games. Not just because you're not playing with anyone. There's no competitivity. There's no difficulties. You're just playing by yourself. Story player games are extremely difficult. You can make them difficult. You can make it easy. I always go for sometimes my first run through a brand new game, like when I was playing God of War. I went on easy because I want to get a feel for it. I've played all the God of War games, but I always start easy so I can get a feel for the game. And then once I've done that playthrough, I go the difficultest level, the hardest level possible. Because then there's the challenge. That's how you get better. Game with Last of Us, dude. Last of Us on difficulty, it's a fucking nightmare. Resident Evil on difficulty, I haven't even got past Resident Evil on normal yet. I'm still playing Resident Evil, not because it's a hard game, but also because I want to sit back and enjoy it. Because I fucking love Resident Evil. Shout out to Capcom.
Yeah, that's one thing I really like about story games, though. I do like story games. I play them a lot. My favorite entire series is a story game. It's Mass Effect. Love the entire series. It's a great series. Yeah. I've been all the.
It could have been better.
I have played all of them on the hardest difficulty, beaten them all on the hardest difficulty. Now, when it comes to games like Dark Souls, like we mentioned, it's like a hybrid.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hybrids out there, Josh. Because we got newest one that I still love to play, and I still have played and still am playing it. Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World has the hybrid effect because you can join online, you can sing out, you can have other hunters or other players come join you on your quests. It has an amazing campaign, and you're basically online all the time, or you can do offline, but basically you're always online. You can always have other people come out and help you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically one of those games that's that game is mostly, I want to say it's a hybrid, but I feel like it's also mostly about community. The community helps each other out. If I'm playing, I remember when I was fighting, and the first time I was fighting in Anjanath, first playthrough ever, I was like, oh my god, this is a hard fight. Died the first time, second time I was like, okay, I might need a little help. Sent out an SOS flare when I was playing. Dude, I had a full squad and we beat the monster.
Mm-hmm.
And all Monster Hunter World, I'm gonna say it is a hybrid game, but that game is mostly focused on the community. How, because there's no one ever saying oh, be better. No, everyone's always saying hey, use this, or you should try using this attack more. Oh, you're brand new to this weapon. Try using this more. Everyone that game is mostly about community, and I love that.
While we're on the topic of community,
oh, here we go.
Overall, please, if any of you guys are shooter players like Siege, especially Siege, Overwatch, all of them. Be nicer to each other. Come on. I mean, I played Siege earlier today. I've played maybe 30 games today. Out of the 30 games that I played, 20 of them, I've had people be toxic as hell. It is absurdly annoying. I mean, it's not.
Do you remember the old days back in middle school? Call of Duty lobbies were like Call of Duty lobbies were fucking
Modern Warfare
hell.
2. Modern Warfare 2 lobbies don't count. That was hilarious.
Dude, I remember the funniest aspect. I'm joining a game and these two people they're talking shit about each other, going like, then like this one dude Anis is like, bitch, your mom's in my kitchen right now making me chocolate milk and cookies while I'm fucking her. You bitch ass, and this kid's just going like, no man, because your mom's over here sucking my dick. And these kids are like fucking 13 years old. Like, what the fuck, yo? What the fuck?
But the toxicity in games, and multiplayer games in particular, is ridiculous. It's absurd, and I get it. Like, people are competitive. I understand that. I'm competitive. I'm very competitive. I love to win. If I don't win, I'm mad.
Dude, I remember I was playing I'm playing Doom match. We're playing I think it was just like classic PvP. Dude, I was so close to winning, and this motherfucker pulls out the BFG at last moment, slaughters my team. He gets the winning kill. I'm like, motherfucker, like, no, that's some bullshit. Like, no, like, the BFG, I'm gonna say this, it's a cheat. It is a goddamn cheat, okay? It should not be in the PvP. It shouldn't, okay? Because, like, you can't hide from the BFG. You can't defend from the BFG. The only thing you can do is, like, hope you kill a person with the BFG before they kill you. But most of the time, they're the one who's gonna kill you. So it's a cheat. And if I'm gonna say this, when Doom Eternal comes out, and if the BFG is available, and you use it a lot, fuck you. That is the end of that rant. I love Doom. Cannot wait for Doom Eternal.
I have a different opinion. If it's in the game, it should be used.
Fuck you, Josh.
If it's in the game, it should be used and abused because it brings attention to differences. If a game has a really overpowered weapon and they realize that majority of the kills in games are made from this single weapon, what are they going to do about it? Nerf it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I won't lie. I use the BFG too, but like,
okay, then you can't even say anything.
No, I'm saying like for the people who like use it like nonstop the minutes out there and they like camp around where it's spawning, like people who spawn camp for like those like overpowered weapons.
Yeah,
I fucking hate those people. Like if it's out there, I'm gonna go use it, but I'm not gonna just sit there and like defend that post, wait for it to come out, and then use it. Like fuck those people.
I mean, honestly, I'm not a big camper guy myself. I don't like them. But I mean, if it's in the game, as much as I hate it, it's a real strat. I mean, it's gonna sound bad, but in Siege, when you're holding an angle on a door or window, and you've been holding it for the past like a minute or so, I get mad. I get seriously mad if you're just still holding that angle because I don't play like that. Now, I'm not saying that you can't play like that. I'm just saying I get mad because I don't. It's unreal for me to hold an angle for more than 30 seconds because I get antsy. I get an itchy trigger finger. I want to go out and kill. I don't care that I'm going to lose the angle. I don't care about that. But if you are patient enough to hold that angle for 1 minute because you know that person's still there and waiting for you to peek that, then good for you. You outsmarted that person. Now, in the case of the Doom BFG, I don't know anything about the Doom multiplayer. I never played it, never wanted to.
You should. I feel like you'd have a lot of fun. But
I was not a big fan of the new Doom.
Really?
I did not like it.
I mean, I will say like one of my favorite things about Doom, and I can never remember this player's name because in Doom it has like you can make your own map and stuff, like make your own levels. This person went out of their way and brought in like the original Doom setting, like the Doom like stuff in there. So it was like the original Doom soundtrack, Doom, like, it wasn't the same graphics, but it was basically like the same Doom background. Like, it was basically like you were playing classic Doom, but the enemies and stuff, it was basically the same graphics. Everything was up to date, but it was just like the background, everything, like the levels, the map. It was classic Doom, and I loved it. Shout out to that player, whoever you are, you're awesome. And like, dude, like I'm not gonna lie, like Doom is probably like one of the best single player shooter games in my opinion because it was basically just it was probably the granddaddy of all shooters. It was like probably one of the not the first, or maybe it was the first. I can't remember.
It could potentially be the first. I don't remember.
I
Wolfenstein.
Well, yeah, no, Wolfenstein and Doom came out around the same time. And dude, Wolfenstein, Doom, amazing. I loved each and every one of them. Not a huge fan of the new Wolfenstein games.
No,
but
those are bad. I don't like them.
But I am excited for Doom Eternal. Cannot wait.
I probably won't play it.
I'm not even gonna lie. I even love the soundtrack for Doom. Like I listen to that when I work out because like the heavy metal, just gets so pumped. Like that game when you're playing it, all you feel is just hype. You just feel more and more amped up. Like that game is a hype. That Doom.
Well, yeah,
is the ultimate hype man.
It is literally just you going around slaughtering people demons left and right.
Dude, no, okay. There was a meme I saw on the internet. I saw on Facebook or Instagram. It was a pic like the difference between Doom and Dark Souls. It was a picture of Dark Souls. Like the guy says, like you're trapped in a room with demons. With Doom, it was like demons are trapped in a room with you. I'm like yeah, that's like the whole thing in Doom. Like you don't fuck with the Doom Slayer, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I played Doom the new one for a while. I didn't like it. It was too clunky for me when it first came out. It was really bad. I never ended up picking it up again after they updated it, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I just lost interest. They kind of just threw me off from all the bad, clunky controls and everything. It was bad.
I won't lie. Like when I first played it, that was probably an annoyance to me, but I got over it. Like I kind of just updated my controller settings and all that. But while we're on the topic of like good games, and this is my opinion only. For me, like the best single player games that have come out and aren't the ones that aren't out yet. They'll probably change my opinion, but for right now, like my top 5 are always gonna be this way until who knows. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, my most favorite game. I still play it. Dragon Age Inquisition. I love it. Like those two are my favorite. God of War number 3, Last of Us. I'm just like okay for number 4 and 5. It's tied between. Trying to think of Spider-Man. And, number 4 is tied between Spider-Man and The Last of Us. But number 5 is I can't remember the name. I'll be right back. Be right back. Sorry. Hold the...
Alright, well, while he's doing that, I'm going to go into...
Shit. I'm fine.
That peaked. So, I'm going to say that my personal favorite single player game. I'm gonna go back to single players really quick. Go ahead. Did you find it?
No, I'm still looking.
All right. Anyway.
Okay. Actually, no. I remember. My list is 6 games. Number 1.
Gotta speak up louder than that, man.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Wait, how do you have a list of 5 and then you say, oh no, it's 6?
Because I forgot about one game.
Also, by the way, if your games are tied in 4th, that means one of them's 5th. Just saying, that you don't have to. Don't step on those.
Okay, I'm being careful, Josh. When you say don't step on things, it makes me feel like I'm gonna step on. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, actually, you know what? My list is 10. So.
Oh my Jesus Christ!
There are great games out there. You don't.
Yeah, well, you don't make a. You know, we didn't get a top 10.
I'm going off my top 10. Suck it. Number 1.
I don't even think I have a top 10 for single player games.
You should. It's like it's just like a little thing. Like, oh, these are my favorite games. That like just
because I play the same games over and over again.
Well, there you are. Okay,
well, it's not top 10. I don't have 10 of them.
I'm a huge gamer. I do. Number 1, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Number 2, Dragon Age Inquisition. Number 3, Marvel Spider-Man. Number 4, Resident Evil 2. Number 5, Spyro. The whole all Spyro games. Number 6, Uncharted 4, or the whole Uncharted 4, and the Uncharted series. Number 6, Randall's Monday. I love that game. It's just one of those like indie games.
Oh,
have you seen the Clerks movies?
No.
Oh, you should. But it's basically the cast from there, like Silent J and Bob. Bob.
Not ringing a bell.
Or Silent Bob and Jay and Silent Bob. Anyway, but great game. Love it. That was number. What number was that?
6.
No, it was not 6.
It was 6.
Seriously?
Yes, it was 6. Jesus Christ. Okay, you're done.
I'm done.
You've used up your time.
Okay, fine. But yeah, no, those are my favorite story games and single player story games. And some people like will give. Oh, I remember God of War was in that list.
Yeah, you put that as number 3, and you got rid of it completely out of that list.
Oh, I'm sorry, God of War. I love you. But no, yeah, single player games they have a huge story, and like single player games, they are beautiful. Like the artwork, like the artwork to them.
There's no denying that single player games are great. I'm not saying that it's not great.
But no, to me, like the thing that captivates me the most about single player games, it's the story. Like how in depth the story goes. Like the whole, like from the whole plot of the game, like from beginning to the end, like how everything, like all the plot points from, you start your quest, you like even like from the smallest thing, and you always start as just like one person who you would think is like, what difference are they gonna make? And in the end of the game, they made the biggest difference. They brought all these people together, or they divided all these people, or like the character you play as in the single player games, you never think in real life you'd always think, oh, what's that person? Just another average Joe. But in the game, it's like they are this huge, like this huge character that like just carries this huge weight. I always love that.
That's another gripe I have with single player games. Actually,
really,
it is. I understand the hero of the story. I get that, but that's so overdone now that there's only one person who can change the world. In Fallout, there's only one person who can save the Capital Wasteland. There's only one person who can save the Mojave. There's only one person that can stop the synths. In Mass Effect, there's only one person that can stop the Reapers. There's only one person that can stop the Collectors. It's absurd. It's not one person. It is a huge plethora of people. So many people are required to do that. Commander Shepard is not good enough to take out the entire Collector army or to stop all of the Reapers. Now, granted, in the first game, they ended off with every single person making a fleet and everything. I get that. That was awesome. But it was all because of the actions of one man. In Fallout, it's Caesar's army versus the NCR.
I will say this, and like for Fallout, like the character that makes the choices, and you can either be this hero or a total tyrant. And
Yeah.
most of the time, I was a total tyrant because
That's the fun way to play it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that with God of War, it's different. He's a demigod, right? Or is he a god? I can't remember. I never played the God of War.
He became a god. Okay, he killed the god. He killed Ares, the god of war. Became a god. I guess you could say he is a god because he's just Kratos is a god.
And then that's a different story then, because he is a god. He's literally a god. He can do that.
He became a god.
He is
Yeah.
Is a god. He is a god. He can do that. It is possible. But for like certain games, I understand for like Last of Us or whatever, it's probably just based on their story.
Yeah.
I've never played Last of Us. I'm going to say this right now. It's only based on their story most likely, and it's only how they perceived it. But with like back what I'm saying with Mass Effect and Fallout in particular, those two games, the entire galaxy and or world changes at that standpoint. It's not just they're just some guy.
Yeah. Or girl.
Well, yeah, literally, or girl in both of those games, but
because women can be heroes too.
Empowering women, great.
I mean, in Dragon Age, most of my characters are female.
I play mostly female characters too. I just like them better.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Almost everyone has a female character, so why bother hiding it? In like Black Desert,
I'm not gonna hide it.
Black Desert, I have a few female characters.
Monster Hunter World, I had a female character. I only made female characters. The guys' faces were disgusting.
Won't lie. I mean, yeah, like female. Like I sometimes I just want to have an attractive character, and females have the better sets.
Yeah.
So it's like I make a female.
I'm not gonna lie. I play the females because they look better. It's not because like I that's a lie. On Fallout 4, I only played the guy because I didn't like the customization for Nora. I really hated it.
I'm not like for Fallout. Fallout 4. I made a guy just so I can make him look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or just like make him this like super buff, badass looking dude, and then just go around being a total dick.
Yeah, I'm currently playing Fallout New Vegas again, and I'm a female. I love New Vegas easily. Best Fallout game.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask you. I never asked, but in Fallout 3, did you blow up Megatown?
In my first playthrough?
Yeah. Or no, in general.
In general, yes, I have. But if we're going by my very first playthrough, I was the absolute definition of a saint. I killed the slavers. I helped everyone who needed help. I purified the water no matter what. No people who were infected by radiation were dead because of the Enclave. I got rid of the Enclave as soon as possible. I didn't really side with the Brotherhood because they were still, racist jerks. I saved Megaton. I went back and helped the Vault. I did everything I needed to be the good guy, because back then I was also like 10. But my very first playthrough on New Vegas was a completely different story.
Dude, New Vegas
slaughtered NCR and Legion alike. I did not care.
Dude, in Fallout 3 first playthrough, and I was probably like the same age as you, I was a horrible person. I was given like the worst title. I remember, dude, I didn't give a shit. I went back and nuked the Vault. Just like said, fuck it.
Yeah, no, I was the absolute definition of a saint because back then my morality got in the way. Nowadays I can put my morality to the side.
I feel like, I'm gonna say this. I feel like with story-driven games, like your moral compass is a huge factor in the game because like with Dragon Age Inquisition, your very actions define the game, and your whole even from starting from character creation, whoever you choose defines how your gameplay is.
Yeah.
Because with and I'm gonna say this, I love Dragon Age because even going back from Dragon Age Origins, if you played as a human, awesome, you were given like the normal respect. If you played as an elf, you were always treated as a second-class slave type system because that's how the elves were. They were treated as lower-class slaves. With dwarves, you're always kind of given like it was kind of the same thing, but also you were given like you were treated as second class, but with a bit more respect because the dwarves didn't give a shit about humans. Dwarves kept to themselves, and so when you were a dwarf, like people were like, oh hey, it's a dwarf. What can we do for you? If you were an elf, like what do you want? Like knife ears, because that was a racial slur in Dragon Age, knife ears. But in like Dragon Age Inquisition, you finally got to play as the Qunari, like a race people were afraid of. Like, they don't understand them. So, and I played as a Qunari a lot, and people were like with Dragon Age, even like from character creation, whatever character you make, defines how your gameplay is going to be. Because the game basically, I'm trying to think of the word, it builds up the story on every choice you make, and even as your character goes. So, like, I got a lot of hate as a Qunari Inquisitor. Like, and I did. I played as a human. I played as every single possible race. Human, elf, dwarf, Qunari. In each playthrough, it was always something different. It was never the same playthrough. And I love that about story games when like the choices you make, everything changes the story because it's never the same. It's never going to be the same playthrough.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, depending on who you choose to be, it very well defines how your character is going to be played out. Not even just in the game, in your mind, you're going to choose certain actions based on either the sex or the race of your character in those games. Like when I play Skyrim, I choose very, very different things depending on the race that I have. If I'm a Nord, I'm always gonna go with the Stormcloaks because it's the Nord home. They're fighting a revolutionary war to take back their home. But if I'm like a Imperial or a High Elf, I go with the Imperials because why do I care about Skyrim?
Yeah,
I'm just I would be considered another High Elf or another Imperial just in the soldier army. I'm not anything special to them.
I'll be honest, like half the time, I never really cared much about the Civil War. I just did the whole
I didn't care either. I only sided with the Stormcloaks majority of the time because I hated the High Elves.
I won't lie, I mostly sided with the Imperials just so I could get Ulfric's armor.
That's a good reason.
Dude, I love
Ulfric's armor is sweet.
Dude, and I won't lie, I know a lot of people did this. They made like Thorin Oakenshield from like The Hobbit because his armor matched Ulfric's gear. So I made like a Thorin character, killed Ulfric, took his armor, is like, I'm Thorin Oakenshield. I must slay the dragon to reclaim my home. I was a total nerd, but I don't give a shit.
No, that's fine. I mean, I made plenty of different characters. I used to play Skyrim exclusively. Like, I want to say about a year ago. I haven't had the time to do this in the year that I haven't done it, but I was in between jobs and I was like not getting calls back or whatever, so I took a break for a little while, stopping applications, taking a break, resting myself. So I played Skyrim for 120 hours in 1 week.
Damn, that's not bad.
And I played through it 4 times. I played through it so many different times with so many different characters. I've beaten the game an insane amount of times. I played as a Khajiit, I played as a High Elf, I played as a Nord, I played as an Argonian, I played as a Wood Elf. I played as every single race you can think of, and I've played as each different kind of character. So I played 2-handed heavy armor, I played 1-handed shield with light armor. I played no armor, just being a mage, just robes and shit. That shit is difficult, by the way. Don't ever do that unless you're really good at the game.
Yeah.
Because that is difficult. The biggest problem with that is the fact that you don't have any armor. Oak flesh and like stone flesh is your best bet.
I mean, yeah, with like the wizard, like I'm gonna say this, like Skyrim, probably one of Bethesda's best games so far regarding the Elder Scrolls series. Elder Scrolls Online, I like it to a point, but with Skyrim, it was like, yeah, it was the pinnacle of Elder Scrolls gaming right there, because everything was perfect. Like you could finally customize your character. I'm not gonna say it was like the best game.
It was perfect. Todd Howard. It just works. It just works.
Todd Howard.
Oh, what a legend.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm excited for the next Elder Scrolls game because
Elder Scrolls 6, yeah.
Dude, and a lot of people are saying it's going to be taking place in Hammerfell or the Summer Isles.
Summer Isles more likely because they already did a Hammerfell game.
Yeah, I mean, with Elder Scrolls Online, they're going back to a lot of the places. Like you finally went back to Morrowind, which I thought was awesome.
I think it's great. I think the Elder Scrolls Online series, the entire game, and the many DLCs that have come out with it, is great. I don't like the game personally, but I think for lore standards, it is an amazing game.
And with that game, like you go more, it's more based. It's very lore based. You go more in depth of the lore of like Akantosh, what was the Daedra and the Aedra. Like the Aedra were the gods, and the Daedra like the demon gods or whatever.
I think so. I haven't looked into the lore for Elder Scrolls in years.
But no, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this again. I like going back to like Dragon Age and like games like Dragon Age, Witcher. Oh, love The Witcher. We're gonna talk about Witcher in a quick sec, but I just want to finish this thought. Games that have like a huge story, story built in them, like a whole religion, a whole backstory, like all that stuff. Like Dragon Age, like they have multiple religions. They have the religion of the Maker, the Elven gods, the Qun, which is what the Qunari worship or follow. Which basically, and the Qun's the Qun for the Qunari is like a religion and also like life commands. Like they follow it. The minute they are born, they are like you follow the Qun until the day you die. That's the Qunari race. Like that's it. And I love games that have religion. I'm not gonna say religion, but basically like their own lore, like huge, massive lore.
What you're saying is not current religion. He's saying Tim is saying he likes games that have their own idea on the religions that they want to have their characters follow. He's not saying he wants like Hinduism in all the games.
Yeah, no.
No, he's saying he wants the lore to follow the religion in the games to follow the lore. That's what he likes about it. He's not
because
he doesn't want a Christian game. He doesn't care about that.
I mean, there technically is a Christian game.
Well, there's plenty of Christian games.
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
I want to play that so bad. It looks so good.
Dude, I have it.
Oh really? Okay.
We will possibly be doing a let's play of Kingdom Come Deliverance. We'll get back to you on our first.
We're gonna play a lot of things.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of.
We're gonna do a Fallout let's play, and we're gonna fucking kick ass. I love Fallout so much.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. We're probably gonna be doing 2. One of a good person, one of a bad person.
Oh, we're gonna do so many different things. Anyway,
just don't get mad at me if I ever decide to just nuke people, because sometimes that's what I do most of the time.
That's fine. It depends on who you're nuking. If we're going to go back to religion in games, I think another. I know I keep on going back to Fallout, but that's because that's what I'm playing right now. I'm playing a lot of Fallout.
Like Fallout, they have like the children of Adam. I love that religion.
The religion is in all the games, split across all of the games. There are religions that I'm assuming, I don't know if you've ever done this, but there's a religion inside the New Vegas Strip, inside Freeside. There's a group called the Kings. They worship Elvis. It's not that they follow Elvis, they worship him. If you talk to the king, he will say there are posters, there's holotapes, there is pictures, there's autographs, everything of this person. of course this is worship.
Yeah.
It wasn't because it was an impersonation school. It was a school of impersonation for Elvis. People wanted to be like Elvis. People cared about that stuff back then. They thought in the 200 years after the fucking nukes dropped that was like a church to them, to Elvis Presley. That I think is really cool. I think that's awesome that they put a historical figure that people knew, everyone knows, and put him as a religious figure because of the misconceptions. It's interesting that how like religions and everything still like either come through or fall out.
I want to say so much about our current like real life religion, but I'm not going to get.
We're gonna stay off that topic.
That's a topic I feel would cause massive debate. So
forewarning, we will never really get political or get too religious on this show. We're gonna try to keep that to a minimum, if at all. We're going to try and keep an unbiased situation here. Just so everyone knows.
just going to say, if I say anything that upsets you, I don't care.
I apologize on his behalf, but I don't care either. Now, have you played the Honest Hearts DLC for New Vegas?
No, I haven't. When it comes to New Vegas, I haven't gotten much into the DLC. The only DLC I really got into was for Fallout was Fallout 3, the Mothership, and all that. Like
Never played Fallout 3's DLCs either.
Really?
No, I never had them. I never bought them, so
yeah.
I never been able to play them.
Looks like we got something else we got to do then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to get onto this thought of like when coming back to like good story games that have huge in-depth lore and stuff like that. I want to get into The Witcher 3. 'Cause I don't know if you played it.
I played Witcher. I've only played Witcher 2 and I hated it.
Witcher 2 had some issues that I was aware of, but I still liked it.
Controls are the only problem with that game.
I won't lie, like the barehanded fighting was annoying.
Not even that. I was in the first 30 minutes of the game, and the tutorial took me about 25 minutes of that. And when I got straight into the first fights, it was annoying. It was clunky. It was bad. I mean, I understand it's an older game. You'd have to push through all that. I get that, but it was so bad, considering I've been playing a bunch of different other games that were so much better that I just dropped it. I never bothered to play the game. I want to play Witcher 3. I've heard nothing but praise about Witcher 3.
We will be doing a Let's Play of Witcher 3, I promise you. We'll be doing a lot of Let's Plays, but I will say this, with Witcher 3, the reason why I love it so much is not because of the bestiary lore, like a full in-depth lore of every single monster, of like the monsters that like for specific quests, like or hunts that you do. Like mostly because there's multiple religions in there. There's multiple like backgrounds for like iconic figures, like past characters, like there's even a huge lore or background for the Witchers themselves. Every single character, major like faction, like even for like the monsters, like the beasts, hybrids, werewolves, all that, like not werewolves, have vampires. Each and single every one of them has like this huge in-depth lore about like big iconic vampires and all that stuff. And it doesn't go into full depth, but like you can see like all these details about these monsters. You can see all these details about these beasts. And with Witcher 3, it's just it's never ending. It is a never ending thing, and I love that so much. And with Witcher 3, The Witcher 3 is number one because it's just a beautiful game. Like the graphics, the gameplay, the control like combat system, like when you're using your magic, like it's basically you are the Witcher. Like everything's like the cooldown time for your spells, like for Igni and all that. It's beautiful. It's like it's not too long. Like you don't have to wait hours for this. You don't have to wait a couple minutes. It's just like it's basically like it's in real time. And the whole combat system I love, because in the DLC, I think Blood and Wine, Blood and Wine, you can even upgrade your basically like your swordsmanship into like this beautiful swordsmanship that's basically like the way you fight. It's as if your sword becomes a whip. It's just everywhere. It's beautiful. Even in the official story, the story itself captivates me. Witcher 3 is just a game that will always be one of my top favorites, and that will never go away. It is a beautiful masterpiece, and CD Projekt Red outdid itself with that, and I cannot wait to see what they do with Cyberpunk, because I already know they're probably going to their Witcher 3 Cyberpunk's probably going to beat Witcher 3 and probably take its place. But for right now, I love Witcher 3 and I love CJ Projekt Red because they do amazing games.
I want to play Cyberpunk. I didn't play the other one, but I really want to play it. It looked really, really good. Now I'm going to be honest. When I saw it for the very first time,
Okay, before you say it, did you get hype for Keanu?
I mean, I honestly didn't watch E3. I mean, I was pretty cool about it. I was on board with the whole Keanu thing.
Yeah.
I praise Keanu Reeves.
Dude, who doesn't?
Rihanna Keeves. But I did not follow E3 that closely for Cyberpunk. I only cared about select few things I can't even remember anymore. But I want to play Cyberpunk, but when the very, very first trailer came out, it did not impress me. It was such an awful trailer. I didn't hear about Cyberpunk until that trailer. And the original...
I won't lie. The main reason why I'm hyped up for Cyberpunk is because the trailer, I remember correctly, the first trailer for Cyberpunk came out in like 2006 or something. Cyberpunk has been in the works and it's been constant in development since then. This is a game that has been in the works for years.
They scrapped the entire game. CD Projekt Red actually scrapped the entire game. They found out that they didn't like the way the game was going, so they scrapped it and started fresh.
Dude, and that's the thing I love about CJ Projekt Red. They care so much about their fans. They care so much about the games they release. With like Witcher 1, it had some good feedback, but a lot of bad feedback. So they improved it. Witcher 2, it was more bad feedback because of the controls and stuff, and then they worked on it. And then Witcher 3, the pinnacle. It was boom, perfect quality. Everything was like 5 stars. Everything was great reviews. There wasn't a single bad review about Witcher 3. I mean, there's probably a few bad reviews, but like for most of it, it was amazing.
It was an overwhelming majority.
Like with CJ Projekt Red, they adapt, they learn like on how to like make a good game, on how to like to make sure what they're releasing they know will please the fans. They care about their fans, and I love that about CJ Projekt Red.
I mean, yeah, clearly they do, because they wouldn't have scrapped an entire game and started fresh if they didn't care.
Exactly.
That is one thing I don't think other game developing companies would ever do.
We know EA wouldn't do that.
Well, they're a publisher.
True.
That's the difference between publishers and developers. That's a huge difference. That publishers, they've paid for the game. They're not patient. They have a time limit. They want to release these games in a certain amount of time.
I mean, yeah, look at Anthem. Like, Anthem, they kept...
Oh, that was fucking rushed.
Dude, that game was...
Oh, that was so rushed.
Dude, that game had so many problems. Like I forget, it was BioWare who made it, right?
BioWare made it, and poor BioWare. They didn't deserve the backlash for that. It was all EA.
BioWare, EA told BioWare, you're done with Mass Effect, focus on this. And dude, BioWare wanted to work on Mass Effect Andromeda, and I love Mass Effect Andromeda. It was a good game.
It was a great game.
I'm so mad that EA basically said, you're done with it, we're moving on. Because, BioWare had so many plans for DLC for Andromeda, for multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
But E3's like, no, we want Anthem, because we know Anthem's going to be our greatest hit, and everyone's going to love us again. No, it was so rushed, it came out, BioWare got the biggest hate. And it wasn't that hate should have been directed at E3, because, not E3, EA, because they were rushing it. They didn't give a shit.
I think the biggest problem is that casual people who play games, they look at the developers. They don't care about the publishers. They're like, oh, publishers, they just publish the game. They're like, oh, the developers made this game bad, therefore it's their fault. It's majority of the time. I'm not going to say all the time, because there are quite a few times where the creators just didn't make a good game. But BioWare, that game was so rushed. EA pushed that game to its absolute limit. They bare bonesed it to the point where no one wanted it. I played the beta for it. I hated it. It was such an awful beta. And I was like, man, this is the game that's going to be coming out. I'm not buying it. I never did buy it.
Dude.
And I've only heard bad things. I've never heard one good review.
There was a huge glitch where you played the game and then your whole entire system, console, whatever, got fucked up.
That's happening with Modern Warfare too.
Really?
Modern Warfare for Xboxes, it is crashing systems.
Damn, that sucks.
And it's unfortunate because people who have bought the game, bought the Ultimate Edition for it, spent $120 on it, it's now crashing their $400 system. And that's unfortunate. But I was watching a video, back to BioWare, I was watching a video about the unanswered questions about Mass Effect, which, by the way, I can't remember the name. I can't remember where I saw the video, but if I can find it, I will try and post it somewhere so I can share it. But basically, what they said is they're done with Andromeda. Andromeda was a one and done. They want to start looking out to newer horizons that isn't Andromeda or in the Milky Way galaxy, which I am actually excited about.
I mean, honestly, yeah. Like, I won't lie. I'd actually like to see a game like in a Mass Effect game that's probably going back. Like, I kind of like the one game I want to see, and I know they probably won't do it because it would be in the Milky Way galaxy. I want to play. I would like to play the First Contact War where mankind meets the Turians.
I think that would be different. I think that would be awesome. I would love that. I understand, like, they want to. Well, actually, you can't do that. The First Contact War only lasted for a few months. First off, secondly, that would be very shooter based. It would be extremely shooter based.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. I know I keep on referencing Fallout, but there's so many parallels.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, the original creators of Fallout, the first two games, and the first three games, Brotherhood Tactics, they were told to go to console by their publishers, and they kind of didn't want to, but they had to do it anyway. There was a game called Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. It came out for the original Xbox. It was a third-person hack and slash shooter game. It failed miserably. You probably never even heard of it. Want to know why? Because it never sold. It sold probably 10,000 copies within the first week, which is absurdly low considering that their original game, their very first one that they've ever created, sold like 80,000 copies in their first week or first month, which is absurd. Like, that game going like parallel to BioWare. If they make a game about the First Contact War, it'll destroy the series. It'll make people not want to go to the series anymore because of that.
True.
Now, I feel bad for those 10,000 people that bought the game right off the bat because they didn't deserve this. They did not deserve that Fallout game, but they got it. And it threw a lot of people off to the Fallout series. That's why Fallout 3 was taken over by Bethesda. And honestly, I think Bethesda ruined Fallout. They took Fallout into a weird direction where, yes, it was first person shooter, 3D graphics. That was great. But it's the storyline that threw me off for both 3 and 4. I hate the storyline for both 3, 4, and 76. All the storylines in there are very bland, kind of like their other games, like Elder Scrolls. Very bland storylines. They kind of brush into each other kind of vaguely. Now, Obsidian, which is a broken off part of the original creators, I cannot remember their names to save my life, but Obsidian decided they had to outsource the game, but Bethesda had to outsource it to Obsidian because they were rushing the game and they were making Elder Scrolls 5. So they were rushing the game, and then Obsidian was told, hey, we need to release this game. Like, hey, come on, wrap it up. So they rushed the game out. By the way, if they rushed the game and it's still that great, it could have been even better.
Exactly.
That's what I'm mad about. But it's the fact that rushed games are not seen to their full potential. Now, BioWare, in their case, they had no time limit. They were so constrained in that time to make that game. I know, like, they had, like, probably like a few years between Andromeda and Anthem. But
right.
They were also working on DLCs in that time. They weren't focusing on Anthem right away. They were like, oh, well, we got DLCs we want to make. And then EA's like, fuck that. Go to Anthem. Drop everything you're doing, go to Anthem. And a lot of people hated it. Most of the creators hated Anthem. They hated making it, so they didn't want to make it. So they made very, very poor mistakes and cut corners because they were forced to do something they didn't want to do.
I will say, I know the people who created who were behind Fallout 3 New Vegas. They split off from Bethesda and then they made the Outer Worlds.
Obsidian.
Oh, Obsidian?
Oh, that's Obsidian. Obsidian was the original creators. I'm going to look up their name because it's bothering me.
But I have yet to play it, and I cannot wait to start.
Fallout 3 was made by Bethesda. That was made by Bethesda.
Well, no, because I know the guys who developed it, they left Bethesda.
No,
because it was Better Outer Worlds is made by the creators of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. It's not by Bethesda.
It's just Fallout New Vegas. Obsidian is they only made New Vegas.
Well, I must be curious, but I just know it was by the people who made one of the Fallout games, like one of the good Fallout games.
New Vegas was Black Isle Studios. Black Isle Studios was the original creators of Fallout, and they they broke off because of the whole shooter thing, and they also got their third game canceled, but that's a whole nother story. They broke off into Obsidian. Bethesda took over, made Fallout 3, outsourced it to Obsidian, which is fucking Black Isle Studios, and then they made New Vegas. They gave it back to Bethesda. They made Fallout 4 and 76, and then Obsidian in that time they made Outer Worlds, which I want to play. I've heard nothing but great things from Outer Worlds.
Same here.
My friend plays it. He loves it, and he doesn't really play Fallout games, and he thought it was very Fallout-esque, and he loved it. So I'm excited to play that. Sadly, I don't have a PC strong enough to run it right now, but I will get there eventually. So, yeah. So I don't think that rushed games. I think also publishers shouldn't rush games. Neither should fans. If fans want a good game, they need to wait for it. Now, obviously, some things are too long to wait for. If you're making a game for 10 years and you're still silent about it, you're going to lose a lot of interest, and therefore the fans should rush you if they want the game, because you've taken too long. That's your fault. That's not their fault. But if have a game in development from 2015 until 2018, that's a decent amount of time. But if it's not perfect, then you have time to make up for it.
Yeah, I mean, like with Cyberpunk, like that's what they're doing. Like they wanted to make sure that this game was going to be phenomenal.
But they communicated it. They communicated with their fans.
They kept releasing like little tidbits to like every time they released something. Like they kept releasing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The fans knew the game was getting better and better.
They knew that the game was getting worked on still. That's the biggest thing, is that when companies stop putting stuff out, they're like, because like if they've made no progress at all in that time, then they need to show that. They need to show we've made no progress. This is our fault. We'll work on that. Even if you do that, I would still be hyped for a game if they're honest about it. Like, hey, we've had a lot of shortcomings. People either have been getting laid off, fired, whatever, leaving for whatever reason. Now the project's being slowed down. I'm totally okay with waiting.
Exactly.
If you just let people know, contrary to popular belief, people are sympathetic. People don't inherently become assholes. Now, granted, there are some people who are. There's some people who are just mad and want to stay mad. And I get that. Those people are probably the loudest. Those are the ones you're probably going to hear. But it's the silent fans, the people who don't say anything when you post stuff. Those are the ones you really need to care about. Because that means they have no problems with your game. If they had a problem with it, they wouldn't have even watched your release of it. They wouldn't have even watched your video on the trailer or whatever, or a update video, or just some sort of post. It's the people who scream the loudest are often heard, and that's a problem. And most of those people are angry, and they want the game to be rushed.
Right.
So, that's, I guess, the moral of that story was to kind of speak up. Even if you're excited about a game, show it. Don't just be like, oh, awesome, and then click out of the video. Be like, just post in the comments or comment on the post or whatever. Just like that you're excited for it.
Yeah, don't be a toxic fan. Be a good supportive fan. Like, you love this company, you love this game, the game they're making. Be excited. Like when I saw the release, like the release trailer for Resident Evil 2 Remake, dude, I was so excited because I love the Resident Evil series. I've been a diehard fan of Capcom in every game they make. Like, I won't lie. Like there were some times when Capcom did kind of use the survival horror genre a bit with. I mean, there was Dino Crisis, there was Parasite Eve. Like, but those games I loved it, but they kind of moved on into their own little genres in a way. When Dino Crisis became more a sci-fi survival shooter, Parasite Eve just became kind of like it lost the survival aspect and became like strategy shooter in a way.
Okay.
But with Resident Evil has always stuck by survival horror. Always. Like with Resident Evil 1, first Resident Evil game, I fell in love with it. Resident Evil 2 was amazing. Resident Evil 2, like all the Resident Evil games I loved. The only ones that I was like a little iffy about was 5 and 6. because like those ones moved more into just a straight shooter.
Shooters, yeah, that's what I've heard, and I heard from a lot of fans that 5 and 6 were more
Like
shooter-esque.
like 5 was just basically just run around, shoot the zombies and all that. With Resident Evil 6, they tried to go back to that little survival, like horror type genre, or not the genre, but like the aspect. It was there, but there was still heavily based shooter. 7, bro, when 7 came out, it was like first person, like it was like a first person survival horror in its prime. It was like that. That's classic Resident Evil meets like what's the word I'm looking for this survival, like classic Resident Evil meets up to date gameplay. It was amazing. Modern day gaming. It was amazing. It was beautiful. That game had me on the edge of my seat every fucking turn. And I'm not even kidding. Like, dude, when I played it, dude, every time like I heard like even the smallest noise, I would just turn around and there was an enemy right behind me, because like it's not third person, it's first person. So you have to be constantly looking around, making sure there's no enemies, there's no nothing. That game had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. If I played that game for a whole night continuously in the dark, I'd probably be dead from a heart attack. Like even like the trailer, like the demo. Dude, the demo scared the shit out of me.
I have never played a Resident Evil game. I want to. I want to play Resident Evil 2, the remastered version. I'm not a huge fan.
And I promise we will be doing a Let's Play of that, so stay tuned for that.
I don't like the third-person horror aspect of games. I think third-person is not the way to go about horror. I think first-person is the quintessential
with Outlast.
spot.
Like Outlast.
Outlast is a great example of first-person horror done right. It is an amazing game because it's the fact that your forced perspective is that you're looking the way your character's looking. You hear what your character hears in the direction that they are hearing it. It's not the fact that... It's more of the fact that you can't turn around without turning your character around that I like. It's the fact that it is actual horror. You're more likely to think you're inside that scenario when you're first person than third person.
Dude, VR horror games, I'm not even gonna fucking play. Fuck that.
Oh, I want to play one. I do.
Dude, no. Eve wants to play in VR is terrifying. It is straight up terrifying.
We'll figure out something to do with that.
Swear to God, Josh, if you make me play the game.
I'll play it. I'll definitely play a horror game in VR. Now, I may punch you in the face if you touch me. You will definitely get donkey kicked in the teeth if you hit my leg. But I will play the game in VR. I will gladly do that. I think the idea of putting VR and horror together is a great idea. I think that's actually an amazing idea.
I do love that concept, but I think I'm a little too much of a chicken to actually play it. I will play it, but I'm probably gonna bitch and complain about the whole time, try to like say, "Oh, this isn't shit," and then when a jump scare happens, I'm probably gonna piss my pants and scream bloody murder.
I'm gonna talk a lot of shit, and then I'm gonna get fucked for it. It is gonna come back to bite me in the ass. I'm just gonna be like, "Oh, this ain't shit," and then I hear a noise and I fucking scream like a little girl. But that is what entertainment is.
That's that. I love that, you know. But no, with classic Resident Evil, like Resident Evil 1, I viewed the survival horror because you couldn't control what your character was seeing. You couldn't control how your character viewed. It was basically like bird's eye view. Basically.
Wasn't it locked views?
Yeah, it was locked views. You could only move around to this way. You had to move from the camera angle. You couldn't change it. You had to move around from there. And I love that. Like that made it even harder. That gave it more of a...
I think that would be
gave it more of a challenge.
I think if I grew up back then and I played the original games, I think I would like that a lot better. But because I grew up with first person stuff, like shooters and whatnot, I think I'm more accustomed to the first person aspect of things. No, not that I say I hate third person games. I love third person games. Obviously, Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect, my favorite series. But like it's the fact that the locked camera angles bothers me. That limits my freedom as a player. Now, granted, back then you probably didn't have that much freedom anyway to do a lot. It was very limited because of the graphics and the processors at the time. It was too much to worry about all that stuff. So they made it easier on themselves to lock the camera angles and only build a room a certain way inside their world builder because it was easy. It was a lot easier. They could make the games a lot more... They could focus more on the horror rather than the world.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine. I think that's awesome. I think if a game wants to do that the world itself is a little bit subpar compared to the horror, that's fine. Like if Resident Evil wants to stop worrying about the world as much, like if things are a little bit out of place, whatever, but the horror is great, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like, and I love the fact that like Resident Evil 2, it follows they didn't even change the story. They didn't change anything. They changed quite a few. They changed a lot of things, but the story, it's basically like playing Resident Evil 2 as a modern day game. As if like Resident Evil 2 never, like Resident Evil 2, the
That's
original.
what I've heard a lot too.
That's basically, it's basically like as if Resident Evil 2 had come out in this day and age instead of coming out back there. That's basically what it's like, and I love it. And another game I cannot wait for a remake is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I can't wait for that.
Never played a Final Fantasy game either. I want to play Final Fantasy.
What the actual fuck, Josh?
Don't have PlayStation.
That explains a lot.
I've never had a PlayStation in my entire life, and I've never wanted one, but now I do. I really want a PlayStation. I'm going to be getting a PlayStation. There's so many exclusives that I missed out.
We should probably save it for the PS5.
I'm going to be getting whatever I'm probably going to be getting the Scarlet.
Oh.
Because it's going to be cross-platform anyway. So.
Oh, really? Oh,
the new consoles are going to be cross-platform all the way.
Oh, nice. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I would like just a fully cross-platform console, so that way you don't have to Xbox, PS4. No, you can just buy this and then boom, I can play I can buy Xbox games. I can buy.
That is the ideal world, but
we don't live in an ideal world.
It's greed mostly.
Yeah, dude, no, corporate America.
All right, so I think with this, I think we're going to cut it here because this has been about an hour. So I think that this is a great point to stop and talk to us. Share us your ideas about what we talked about. I know we jumped around quite a bit, but there's no reason for us to exclude you from the conversation. So
yeah. So if you guys got any topics you want us to talk about, send it to us, and we'll give it we'll think about it and give it a little whirl. So I am Josh. I am Tim,
and this is the Gamers Trap.